Hey guys, it's Maymay and we're going to try something today. I saw a wreath made that looked like a pumpkin, which I'm sure you've seen those before with the geomesh. But I love white pumpkins and I thought how fun would it be to try to do a white pumpkin. And I had this in my stash, which makes it even better because I don't like to go buy things. So what I'm going to attempt to do this with is this work wreath, which is a 16-inch work wreath. I bought it last year in the Christmas section, so I got it for 50 or 60% off, who knows. And what I like about this one, which I think is going to help me, is that it's dimensional like this. It's not really flat. They usually have some dimension, but I think this is really going to help me get that pumpkin-y feel because it's going to help the geomesh kind of wrap up really well. And I'm not going to use these pieces in the center of the work wreath. So what I'm going to do is just go around and kind of tuck them out of my way, just because they're going to grab on the geomesh and I don't want that to be a big problem. So I'm just going to wrap them around all the way around. You could cut them off. I just don't want to take the time to do that. Plus, I am a person who takes wreaths apart. And matter of fact, some of the stuff I'm going to use in this wreath is from another wreath. And so if I ever decide to turn this into something else, it'll still have its pieces on it. So I've got those center pieces out. Now I'm going to go through and open all of these pieces so that I can get to them, because those I do plan to use. Alright, so I've got those all opened out. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use several different things. I'm going to use this white. It's really a cream is the name of it. It's something I got from Walmart at some point in time. It's a Deco mesh, okay? And it is 10 inches. And there's 10 yards on here. I don't know how much of it I'm going to need, but it is 10 inches wide, okay? I may use some of this leftover bronze for some leaves or a topper. I may use some of this burlap. This is all stuff from my stash. And I may incorporate this green sparkly. I don't know. We're going to see. I'm just going to play. I haven't really dug through my stash for this one. And I'm not sure how long I'm going to need to cut this just yet, because I want to kind of measure it to my wreath. And this is only 10 inches wide, so I may have to double these up to get a good coverage. But something like that is probably going to be enough. I guess I can do it this way so I can actually reach it. Imagine this is the top at this point. So something about this long is probably going to be enough, but I'm clearly going to have to double these pieces to get the coverage that I'm looking for. So let me cut this piece and then see where we're at. Okay. So I have this piece, and this is going to be about the length I'm going to work with, okay? I'm not sure how long this is. I don't have a ruler with me, but if you're making your wreath, just make sure it's wide enough to go all the way across your wreath form and have some to pinch on either end to put into the twisties, okay? So that's staying really well. I'm going to use that as my measure, as my guide, and I'm just going to roll these out and cut. Now I've only cut about 4, and the reason is because this is the longest piece I'm going to need, and I'm really going to just be doubling these like this. I'm going to start with 4 at first and see if that's thick enough in the middle. If I need to do more this long, I will, but as we go around the circle, the pieces will get shorter and shorter. So I'm going to bring it back in, and I think I'm going to work, this will be the top, this will be the bottom, just because I can reach it better that way. It's hard for me to reach all the way over, so I'm going to use this as the top. So I've got these two pieces and I've overlapped them, not 100%, okay? Just about almost, if you can see where that's kind of overlapped. And I'm going to take this top piece and gather it. And then I'm going to use these twisties on the end and secure them in. Just twist those around. Now in a little while I'll do some tucking and stuff, but for now I'm going to leave that open in case I want to use it to hold some of the topper. Now I'm going to turn this, so now you'll be seeing the top. Alright, and now I'm going to bring this down, grab it, and put it into the twists. Like so. Okay. Then I'm going to take my next pieces and kind of go over here, and they're going to overlap too. And I've got one piece. I'm going to overlap that second piece with it. Grab up the top, and I'm going to put it into the next set of twisties. Now this is where you want to kind of play with your mesh and get the shape you want. I'm going to bring that down a little bit because I don't want it extremely puffy at the top. So there's that piece. Now I'm going to do another piece on this side real quick. So I'm going to do the same thing and just kind of lay this piece here. That geo mesh kind of holds it for me, which is kind of cool. It's like having another set of hands. Then I'm going to lay the other piece on it, overlapping again. And then what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to kind of let it lay to the side and put it into those same pieces I did the last one. I'm going to kind of cheat the system. So just go right on top of those and tuck them into the same twist. I'm going to do the same thing here, just kind of wrapping it around that side and take it to those same twists. Now you're probably thinking it looks like a piece of candy, but trust me, geomesh is forgiving and you just have to kind of get it to the look of what you're looking for and it will work. I'm going to go ahead and do some more here, which don't need to be as long. So I'm glad I didn't cut them beforehand because they just don't have to be as long as what I did the first time. Okay, I have a plan here. I don't think I'm going to need these guys. I'm going to turn these under, like so. I'm going to take these last two pieces that I've already overlapped, which have now twisted on themselves and made a mess. I'm going to take these two pieces I just cut, overlap them, okay. I'm going to put them in the same twist I just did. That's the cool thing about these little twisty pieces. They're very long. And you could untwist them and do it if you needed to, but I think this is working fine. Then I'm going to take this edge and kind of wrap it around our shape. So I can pull it kind of snug here, and it'll really show off the roundness, the shape of the wreath form, which will help us to get the pumpkin feel. And put them into the same ones I just did. Okay, so we're getting a good feel over here. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. If you have wider mesh, you may not even have to do two pieces. You could just do one and fold it. Or if you, when you scrunched it up, it might be thick enough. But I feel like I need two for the coverage for all of the work wreaths. Oh, almost forgot. I'm going to tuck these guys in because I don't think I'm going to use them at all. Lay that over. Then lay this one over. Grab this and attach it to the same twist that I've already used. It's not the same one as last time. We're on the other side at this point. Okay. Turn it around. Remember, we're going to wrap it around that edge. So just kind of work it around the edge and pull it into its shape. Then we'll put it into this twist tie. So we really only used two sets, two at the top and two at the bottom. Now I'm going to attempt to turn these under to kind of be filler inside. I'm even going to try to turn that twist under like so, and then I'm going to turn this one under and just kind of tuck them. And that geo mesh just kind of grabs a hold of them because it's so sticky. It will stick to itself pretty good. And now I'm going to do the same at the top. You can tuck it underneath and grab that other layer and just tuck your geo mesh under. See what I'm doing here? Just tuck it in. You're just hiding it out of the way. Now one thing I'm doing back here, because I don't care for how loose these edges are, is I'm taking one of these twists and I'm poking it through the mesh and pulling that up through. And then I'm able to secure it in the back with those pieces that we tucked away that we weren't using. That way we know this mesh is not going to flip around to the front. And I know that these wreaths always look kind of bad before they look good, and that's really the deal here, so just hold on. You could do the same thing here if you want to take some of those up and twist those in, but this seems to be fine for me here. I think it needs, I'm going to decide which side is the top and the bottom. I think it needs more in the center. I love how the edges look, but I have a plan that's going to cover up all of my workings all at one time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run this piece from the top to the bottom, flip it over, and I'm going to run it the whole length of the back. Just like this. Then I'm going to cut it away. So I've pulled it all up and I've twisted it together, and I took a piece from the work wreath that I'm not using and snipped it away, and I'm just going to twist that on the top. And I'm not worried about this because that's the top of the pumpkin, and we're going to hide all this at the top. Now I'm just going to pull these ribbons and get them where I want them and make sure they're just right. And I really sort of like the shape of this. I feel like it made a good pumpkin shape. Okay. So now I want to talk to you about this. While we were making that, you could see that it didn't look like we wanted it to, and we had to really work with it to get it there. With geomesh, that's what you do. You just move it around, play with it, work with it till it's the shape you like it. And I'm really happy with this one. I like the shape. Okay, now I'm going to start working on the top. And I think I'm going to do a burlap stem here. So I'm going to take some of this ribbon, and I'm going to just get a pretty good length of it. And I'm going to use some hot glue for this one. I'm just going to hot glue it to this piece and let that be the stem holder. And I'll start by just squirting some hot glue in here. Like so. And that'll hold that in place for us for a second. Now that I've got this hot glued on, I'm going to take this piece and just kind of wrap it multiple times around that piece of geomesh that we twisted at the top. And I'm just doing it sloppy. Like, I like the folds. I think that looks good. I think it looks more like a stem. Then I'm going to put a little hot glue here to hold that down. So that is our pumpkin stem. Can you believe how easy that comes together? I know it's sloppy, but it works. So we have our pumpkin and we have our stem. Now I want to show you some of the things I had left over that I took off of another wreath. So I have so many of these pieces, and if you remember my fall deco mesh or geomesh wreath that I did some time ago, these items were on it. Where I put a wreath on my front door gets a lot of sun, and the sun will turn my geomesh different colors, but it doesn't seem to damage these guys. They look fine. Like, you couldn't tell that I used these for 2 years outside already. So we're going to use them again, and I'm going to use them at the top, but first I want to put some kind of bow or ribbon in that area. So I have this ribbon, and I'm going to tell you, I hate this ribbon. What kind is this? Let me see. It doesn't say. I got it at Old Time Pottery. It's a mesh ribbon. Here's what I hate about it. You see how it's sticking to that wreath? It has these little pieces on the edge that stick, and they make it very hard for you to make a bow out of it. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take it and twist it like this and then kind of pull, and I get these kind of twists from it because it will stick onto itself like that. And I'm going to just take some of these and just kind of hot glue them up here. I put some hot glue on that off of the camera, and I'm just going to stick that in. At this point, I've changed it. I'm using my low melt glue gun because I want to make sure I'm not going to burn myself the whole time. And then I'm just going to leave these in here, and when we get done, I'll probably adhere them down somewhere. So as you can see, it's just a piece of ribbon, and I folded the end. put some hot glue on it. I'm going to just find a spot to stick it, just to give me some little greenery up there. I'll probably add more, but that'll kind of get me some at the top before I get, you know, too far gone up there. Now I'm just going to play with these guys a little bit and see where I want them to go. I think these leaves would be so pretty kind of in this area, like so, and maybe up in that area, and maybe one sticking up with that ribbon. Yep, I really like that. So I'm going to hot glue these down. Now let me show you something. These were hot glued onto my wreath last year, so you can see the hot glue, but I just pulled it off and reuse it, because like I said, I can never reuse the geo mesh. It always gets too sun damaged for me anyway. And I do not have a problem recycling. You guys know that about me. So I got those guys down, and I think before I go too far, I'm going to bring a piece of this kind of downward. So doing the same thing, I'm just going to cut a piece away and just kind of glue it here so I'll have a piece low. So I got that one glued, and I like how it's laying. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little glue right here and just hold it in place, so it'll kind of stay twisted down there. That's cute. Okay, now the fun part. We'll put these guys on. And the thing I love about these is they really do a lot of work for you, because you don't have to do anything but glue them on. See how long this stem is on this one? I don't want that much stem. So I took this one and I folded it back up on itself, and that's perfectly fine. And then I can just glue this into place, and that won't be my that won't be in my way. Now we just do lots of glue. I'm going to place this one kind of up here and just hold it while the glue adheres. So I've done the same thing, and I've tucked this piece around, and now I'm going to put a lot of glue on it. And I'm just going to stick it in this area. Okay, so periodically you'll want to pick it up and kind of make sure everything's adhered down. And this feels a little loose, so I'm going to put a little glue back here and just adhere this to the stem, just to make sure that everything's kind of connected. Just kind of feel around. You can move these leaves where you want them. And that doesn't feel extremely loose. Those were stuck together. But I think I'm going to glue this here just because it feels a little wobbly. Okay, now we have a couple things to cover up. Like, we have this piece that's showing where we attached it. So I have these small pieces that I took off that same wreath, and we're going to reuse those. So I think I'm going to put this pumpkin. I love this pumpkin. I guess a pumpkin wouldn't have a pumpkin on it, but we're going to do it our way. Stick that in that area. And that'll cover up those workings. Then this little leaf is kind of showing a little bit, so I'm going to use this glittery pumpkin over there. It's kind of showing where I glued that leaf down. Just kind of stick that in place. I'm going to turn this where I can get to it, and I'm going to add these pine cones. I love pine cones in this stuff. I also like that they'll not be quite as glittery, so we'll get kind of a mix of the glitter look and the non-glitter all in one, you know, because everything's so glittery. Okay, and now when I picked it up and looked at it, I have a little bit of an open spot right here, and I think it could really use some kind of like sprays like this. So I think what I'm going to do is take this spray apart. You can do that. You can just pull these guys out like so, and I think that would look really good right there. And I may use this, I'm not sure, we'll see. We'll see if I can make 2 sprays out of this one. Looks like I can. Yep. So I'm going to use this one on one side, but I'm going to use this one on this side. This one I got to put the glue on the beads, but that's alright because I'm going to hide them in there. Just going to see where I can tuck it. think right in here will be good. Yeah. I think I want to put some green coming out of here and maybe a little bit here. So I'm going to go back to that green ribbon and do another small piece, just folded and cut. Put some glue on the end of it. See if I can stick this under here a little bit. Let that come out. I can always trim it if it's too long. I actually think that looks good. Then I'm going to put a piece behind this orange. And I don't like where that landed, so I'm going to glue it down behind this orange. So just know you can do that. Just move it where you want to move it, wherever you want it to land. Now I have one last acorn, and I think I know where acorn. I have one last pine cone, and I think I know where I want it to go. I think I need to do something in this area to kind of break up that big orange leaf. Something like that. And this glittery acorn, which I cannot leave off of this pumpkin because this is so pretty to me. Stick it here. And that's it, guys. That's how you make a geomesh pumpkin. And I used a 16-inch work wreath. This was 10-inch wide geomesh. And I want to ask you this question. Did you think it was going to work when I started? The reason I ask you this is people are very intimidated by geomesh. But the thing about it is, it usually never looks good until you finish. It just has one of those, this is not going to work feels to it. But I feel like this worked, and you do have to just work with it and get it there. So I'm pretty happy with the result. Let me know what you guys think. And I think I'm able to save these for another year or two and kind of get some more use out of them. Thanks for watching, guys. If you recreate something like this, or if you use geomesh, I'd love to see it. Maybe you could post some pictures of it on our Facebook group, which is Maymay Made It, and so did I, and there'll be a link below for that. Let me know what you think about this here geomesh wreath, and I will talk to you guys on Monday for some more fun crafting. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.